Hi everyone and welcome to my channel So Fantastic with Tiwa Avanti, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to finish the neckline of any sewing project you're working on, be it a top or a dress or a jumpsuit, just anything you don't intend to line fully. Okay, so I'm going to be explaining how to use a bias tape and also how to finish your neckline using a facing. So the method I explained here is called the French bias binding. I also demonstrated how to make your own bias tape if you don't have a bias maker or you don't want to use the type that they sell, that you can just buy and use. So it's simple and straightforward. And also for the facing, I just explained how I do mine, the method that works for me. It's very simple. It's been working for me for ages and I've stuck to it, and it's really easy to follow. These instructions are very easy to follow. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. Then comment of course if you have any questions or suggestions. I'm open to everything. Please comment below, and thank you for always coming to watch the videos I post. I really appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe again. Okay, I think I said that before, but please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's grow this channel together. And so let's get right into the tutorial.
I'll be using these half bodies to demonstrate how to achieve your necklines. First, I'm going to create the bias bind my own way. What I do is just to fold the fabric I'll be using at an angle, just like that, to create a crease and open it up. So from there, I'm going to mark how wide I want the bias tape to be. So for this one, just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to mark it at 1.5 inch so that it's wide enough for you to see, because I don't know if I mark it too small, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So I'm just going to mark 1.5 inch all the way down from that crease, and then I'll rule a line down. You can use a bigger fabric, it's because this is a tutorial, that's why I'm using this tiny fabric. So then again, I want to make more lines that will be long enough to go around the neckline. So I'm marking from that line, I'm marking 1.5 inch again, and I will rule that. Okay, you can make as many lines as you want, just keep marking and ruling like that. And when you're satisfied with the number of lines you have, you cut out. Then head on to your sewing machine and you need to sew the bias tape together. So to join your bias, you put the strips of fabrics over each other at a 90-degree angle, just the way I'm showing you on the screen, and then you pin it in a slant way as a guide. This is to make sure that you're not sewing a straight line, because if you do that, then it's not going to be a bias tape. Then you can also define that line with a chalk, just to guide you. After sewing, your bias tape should look like this. And it should look like a normal store-bought bias bind or bias tape. And I have that excess at the side because I cut one too long. It was more than 1.5 inch. So I'm just going to, but that's not a problem, I'm just going to cut off the excess so that I can continue with the tutorial. Next, I join the shoulder of my garments together both shoulders, then and pin the bias tape all round the neckline. I started pinning somewhere around the middle of the back neckline, and I folded the edge in so that I don't have a so that my neckline looks finished. I folded when I started pinning it, I've already folded the edge of this bias over, and then I overlapped it at the end so that the unfinished end is not out when I finish sewing. I'll also be starting the sewing from the midpoint of the back neckline. With my neckline sewn down, the next thing I did was to cut off the seam allowance, and I did this to reduce the bulk around the neckline so that when I am turning it, it's easy for me to turn it and also sew it down. Just be careful to not cut into your seam, and also you can also notch it if you prefer to do it that way. Next, it's time to turn the bias over and finish up the neckline all together. So what you do is to first fold the bias over. After folding, then go ahead to sew it down along your neckline, starting from where the bias overlapped. Just continue to sew slowly, and if you're a beginner, you can tack down the bias before you go ahead to sew it. Okay, so just keep going until you finish sewing all the parts of your neckline. And after sewing, this is what my neckline looks like. It's so neat and well laid. It's not squeezed up and the fabric is not cut up anywhere. It just looks really neat. On the inside, it's really neat, and that is why the French bias binding method is my favorite of all the methods of using bias bind to finish up the neckline, because it's super fast and it's easy, and it gives you a very neat finish. Moving on to the facing method of finishing neckline, I have iron stay on my facing, and now I am aligning the neckline of the facing to that of the main fabric, and I am pinning. After pinning, I am sewing both pieces together with 1/2 inch all around like that. Next, notch the seam so that it's easy for you to backstitch. So notching makes it easy for you to turn, and you can also cut out the seam, reduce it the way I did for the other method, for the bias method. The next thing to do is to backstitch the neckline. Take your time to sew it down because you want to sew as close to the edge as possible. After which you can go ahead to iron the neckline down very well. So I followed the same process for the back. I'm about to join the front and back shoulders together, and to do that I simply just wrapped the back shoulder around the front. You can decide to do any one. You can decide to put the front over the back instead. Just make sure that it's well aligned, and if the back main fabric is against the main fabric of the front, and the facing is pinned to the facing of the back too. Just the way I'm doing it on the screen, I don't really know how to explain it. Just arrange it like that. It's supposed to look like you inserted one into the other, and by the time you finish sewing it, when you turn it, you will not see the joining at all. It's going to look really neat. I'm about to sew it and you see the outcome soon. And in case the facing, the armhole is faced to, meaning everywhere is enclosed, the neckline, the armhole, what you do is just insert one, the back or the front, into each other through the tunnel, the kind of tunnel that would have been created from the joining. I don't know if you understand, but when you do it, if that is the case, you get it. So you just insert one into the other, and so we can now go ahead to trim off any excess you get around at the shoulder point and also the other side. So just trim off the excess to reduce any bulk around that place and turn. This is what it looks like after turning. There's no joining inside and outside. It's just really neat and it's laying well. I'm going to go ahead to pin and sew the other shoulder too. After sewing, I trimmed off the excess and everything, then I turned to the other side, and this is what the end result. And one thing you should always look out for is that the joining is aligned at the shoulder. So these are some of the methods that you can use to finish your neckline easily and neatly, so that your projects don't look home soon. In the next video, I'll be showing you how I made a customer's order from start to finish. I'll be showing the whole process, so please watch out for that, and please don't forget to like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video.